So hi everyone, welcome to today's session, and today we're going to talk about writing for the Learning and Teaching Conference. I just want it to be a very, very laid-back session, so if you have any questions, do feel free to stick your hand up at any time or put the questions into chat. And really, I just want to make this informative, and I want to, by the end of the session, I want all of you to know that you can write a really good conference abstract and submit it to the conference and present at the conference next year. So I will share my screen. Actually, I think I'd probably better start my presentation first, because I don't know what which screen it's going to be on. Sorry, you'd think after 2 years or so I'd be getting good at this, but no. Okay, so hopefully you can all see my presentation now. Cool. Okay, so what we're going to do today is the main part of the session will be about writing for the Learning and Teaching Conference, and that will be me. But also we'd like to run this as a SoTL Network meeting, so get some time at the end so Nathalie can talk about ways that all of you can get involved with the SoTL Advent calendar, now going into its 4th year. And if we get any time at the very, very end, then Nathalie and I would like to talk about the SoTL Network meetings and talk about what you would like us to do and what you would like to do at the other meetings. So the conference next year is going to be a sort of hybrid, but not really event. On Wednesday, the 29th of March, 2023, it's going to be online. It's going to be over Zoom. And at the request of Moira and the Deans of Learning and Teaching, what we're doing is we're doing pre-recorded 10-minute videos, and we'll have all of those lined up beforehand. And then what we'll do is we'll have the sessions where we show the videos over Zoom, like a watch party. And then all of the presenters will actually be on Zoom, and they'll be on the Zoom stage, and they'll be there to take questions. And the reason we want to do this is it's modeling good practice. So it's much better to get something pre-recorded than to have things go wrong on the day with internet dropping out and everything like that. We'll also have digital posters. So that's just the normal, most people just do a PDF or a PowerPoint slide, and we'll get those up on the web beforehand, and we'll look at ways that people can interact with the poster presenters. On the 13th of April 2023, we have all of the James McCune Smith Learning Hub. I asked for a few rooms, and room bookings have booked out the whole of the building for the whole of the day. So I'm both excited and terrified by this. So what I have, luckily, I have the Active Learning Network steering group, which is me and Nathalie and Vicky Dale and Gail Pringle Barnes and Francis and Lee Powell. So we have the 6 of us, and we're forming a steering group for the committee, and we're really, really excited to think of ways that we can really just make this a fantastic day. So we'll have asking people to put in for interactive workshops, which is great. I mean, obviously the emphasis on active learning, but also geared to the conference theme. But also the other thing is, because I've got all of this space, we thought we would do some drop-in or Q&A sessions. So if you have a group that you would like to say, I'd like to get people to know about my little group, then you can just email the conference email, which will come through to all of us, and you can just talk to us about how you would like to use the space on the day. So I've got the quality assurance and enhancement officers from social sciences, and they'd like to use it for their network meetings. So that's actually great. They can have a room for an hour. We have the SoTL network. So we will definitely be doing something with the Sensei, I should think. So we'll do some sort of SoTL drop-in geared around supporting people, maybe some sort of, I don't know, SoTL speed dating or something like that. We're going to talk about ways that we can do this. And I think people like the library, archives, any of the people who would normally have a stall, will ask them to have if they'd like space. And if I can, I'll probably look at having all of the recordings from the 29th of March and having places that we can just rerun those so that they're either on a loop or people can go and watch them. So we, and get the digital posters displayed as well. So I really, really want to make it just a SoTL LTS showcase day. And I'm absolutely open for anybody to come and tell me what they would like to do and how I can run this. So not terrified at all. Even Vicky Dale told me to calm down. She thought I was getting too excited. So that's a measure of how excited I am. But quite seriously, let me know. So submissions is via EasyChair for the videos, the posters, and the workshops. The deadline is midnight on the 25th of November. And that means I can then get them out to review and get them reviewed before Christmas, because last year trying to get the reviews done over Christmas was awful for the reviewers, and I really should not make people work over their Christmas holiday. Even if I do, other people shouldn't. And if you've got any questions, get in touch with me or the conference email, and all of the details are on the conference webpage, and you will all get these slides afterwards. So, conference theme next year is access to opportunity. The sub-themes, again chosen by the Moira and the Deans, are workplace learning, widening participation, working in partnership with FE, working in partnership with industry, graduate attributes, and skills development. Now, I would say, when you look at these, you might think, oh, good grief, this is just all pillar 3. It's not me. I wanted to do something about my academic interests. But I would say, if you look at the stuff around graduate attributes and skills development, that is really, really open, because skills development doesn't just mean practical skills, it's all your academic skills. So, if you want to talk about different types of assessment or anything, look at putting things around the graduate attributes and the skills development. And again, if you've got any questions, if you think, I really want to submit to this, but I'm just not sure, get in touch with me. And I think quite likely the online presentations, the pre-recorded presentations, will be more focused on the sort of workplace learning, widening participation, all of that. But when it gets to the active learning day, we're going to be a lot more flexible. So if you've got ideas for workshops, and when we're looking at active learning and accessible learning, all of these are access to opportunity. So think on your feet, be inventive. Obviously we have to have a theme. We do want to tie it around the theme, but there are ways that you can make it relevant to the theme, I think. Okay, so what makes a good abstract? I have been involved in this learning and teaching conference since 2010, I've realised. And I've either been a reviewer or I've actually been an organiser since then. So I have seen a lot of reviews, and I've seen a lot of abstracts. And I've seen a lot of really, really good ones, and I've seen ones that could have been good, but they just sort of didn't quite hit the mark. So I think a good one, I put these the wrong way around. So a good abstract, the title or topic appeals to a wide audience. And a weak abstract, the title or the topic is too narrow or too specific. And so what I mean by this is some people, they write what's a really good abstract, but then the title says how to deliver a lecture in philosophical. Now, straight along, if you're not interested in philosophical logic, you're not going to come along to that talk. Whereas if you put something like how to deliver a lecture in a numerate subject or something like that, you've opened it up to half the university. So I think the biggest mistake that people actually put is just putting in their subject area in the title. And of course you put it in the abstract somewhere, but the title needs a sort of a broad appeal. So, how to deliver a lecture in an awkward space or something like that. That's going to appeal to a lot of people. So think about that. Don't missell it, but don't try not to tie it down, because most people won't read beyond the title if it's too narrow. And then obviously good abstracts address all of the review criteria. Weak ones don't. Right at the beginning, I think people used to think that the Learning and Teaching Conference was a very easy thing to submit to. And so they just put in an abstract. And actually, we get a lot more abstracts submitted than we have space for. I mean, and a lot of the abstracts that actually come in aren't from our university. So a good one is one that you can tell that the people have actually had a look at what the conference theme is. They've thought about what they want to say, and they said, now, how can I say what I want to say, but make it relevant to this conference? So a clear focus on the conference theme and sub-theme. And there are two other things that make people drop out. Once they've been accepted, they will make them drop out, or they will cause them a good deal of stress. So a good abstract will talk about data that's already been analysed. And you know, if you haven't analysed your data by the time you submit it, and then you haven't analysed it by the time of the conference, you're going to be very, very stressed. And actually, if you haven't analysed the data, then you can't know what you're going to say. So you get one, you know, not for this conference, but I've seen them come in and they say, the data, we haven't analysed the data, but when we analyse the data, we will find X, Y, Z. And I thought, well, okay, that doesn't sound like you're actually going to do some particularly good data analysis then, if you've already decided what your conclusions are. So, and obviously, if you don't have any data, then that's not relevant. You won't be marked down for not presenting data that you don't need to present, but it's just, if you have a data set, it should be at least partially analysed, I would say, by the time you submit it. And the other thing is that really you need to report on work that has been done. You can't speculate. You can't say, I'm going to run this project and I will present at the conference, because what happens if the project doesn't run? And the, you know, particular things like all of the funded bids that are starting at the moment, I realise that by the end of November, most of those won't have started, or they won't be far enough along. So I would say to anybody who has one of the LTDF, the SSP, the SoTL bids, get in touch with me if you're going to want to present, because you won't be ready by the end of November, but we will look at ways that we can bring these people in, either by running a separate event or having a later deadline. And I'm not saying anything here that I haven't said elsewhere, so this is okay. So does that all make sense? Yeah, good. Okay, so what I have now, we have the review criteria up on the web pages, but what I have done is I have just gone into EasyChair and I have set up the EasyChair reviewing. So what I have here is exactly what the reviewers will see when they go to review the conference abstract. So the first 4 items will all use a definitely yes for the most part, somewhat, and definitely no. And it's all fairly straightforward, aligns with the theme, aligns with the sub-theme, accessible and interesting to a wide audience. I wouldn't let it put you off if it's just a niche thing, because this is, niche things are sometimes important. And the proposal links to the university's learning and teaching strategy. Well, it's quite clear that we live and breathe the learning and teaching strategy in ADD, so we know that the conference theme is very much aligned to it, and all the sub-themes are, so, that should be a given. And again, all data has been analysed at the time of submission. And I've put in reference to data analysis is absent. That wouldn't be a kick somebody out. That would probably be a review comment to go back and ask, has the data been analysed, or what's the plan for data analysis? But I think, explicit reference to it being incomplete or not being started would be a flag for a lower score. So the next one, again, project intervention presented will be complete at the time of the conference. So yeah, straightforward. Next one down is the proposal demonstrates how students have been or will be engaged in preparing, delivering the session or in the development of the project being presented. We're very, very strong at Glasgow on our staff-student partnerships. And we have so many, and even the ones that don't look formal, sort of the informal ones. It's so many opportunities to involve our students. So if students are involved in any way, mention it. Don't think that you wouldn't be accepted if students weren't involved, though, because the not applicable is absolutely fine. It's just if you do have students involved, we like to hear about it, because we do like to talk about how strong we are on our staff-student partnerships. And the next one for workshops only, authors of this work have thought about how they will engage participants. Fairly straightforward. If you're running a workshop, it's going to be interactive. So, and then the next one down, again for presentations and workshops only, not for posters, is can it be done in the time, which is obviously straightforward. And then the final thing that people will be asked is, is it a strong accept, a weak accept, a maybe, a definitely no, or a possibly no? And then there'll be an open space for comments. So, any questions? Yes, Alison.
I've got a question just about ethics. So I know if we were to want to write up this, we would require ethical approval if it involves students, which probably most of the things will that are talked about. But I was just wondering how that might work with a project where it possibly might not be appropriate anyway if the project hasn't been planned yet from what you're saying, but yeah, just a general comment about ethics would be helpful.
That's a good point, actually. One of the submission criteria is that ethical approval has been asked for or sought, if appropriate, and I haven't actually put it into the review criteria, so I should do. Yes, if you have student data, you're writing for the conference, it's a public event, so yes, you should have your ethics or know that you're going to get your ethics.
Oh, okay, thanks.
The other thing I would say, and I've dropped the URL in to one of the slides, is all of the abstracts from all of the previous conferences are online on our conference web pages, and I would go and have a look at them. So you'll find some of them are really good, and you'll find some of them actually break some of the things I've said because they say the subject in the title, but have a look through some of the ones that are there. I think from last year, I would say that Julia Bowman's Interculturality in the International Classroom, I think her abstract is very, very good. And I think that the title itself, Interculturality in the International Classroom, makes it very clear why people would be interested in going along. And I think Michelle Welsh and Orania, their long presentation, The Development and Implementation of Equality, Diversity and Inclusion Teaching in an Undergraduate Programme, absolutely clear what it was. And they don't mention that it's just in anatomy, which it was. But so they make it very, very clear that it was appealing to a wide audience. So I would say, and their abstract is absolutely superb as well. So have a look. And as I say, get in touch if there's any questions.
I think Sally just had a question in a chat.
Oh, sorry.
If the criteria are published somewhere.
Yes, they're all on the conference website, okay. Sally. They're just slightly more.
Sorry, I probably missed that. Cheers.
Yeah. You'll get these slides. You'll get these sent around. And I want to be as transparent as possible, so I will put the slides in the SoTL Teams as well, so that you can just see. We do it for students, don't we? We encourage people to share the assessment criteria before they're assessed. So I thought we really ought to do it for this conference as well.
Okay, thanks a lot.
But I will put the thing about ethics in before I share them around, because we should just mention that.
Sarah, is it worthwhile mentioning that if you don't collect data but you just jointly write something with your students, you don't need ethics. So if you co-author a reflection with your students, so you're not using data, you don't need ethics for that if you just jointly write something. It's maybe
yes, that's a good point. Because yes, every year we have a few posters. Very often the posters are student-led. And of course, we don't need ethics for that. It's just when you are analysing data that's about students, broadly speaking, or analysing data that's about other members of staff. Okay, well, if there's no more questions, shall we move on to talk about the exciting stuff?
Oh, there is a question from Saida. Saida, do you want to ask it yourself?
Oh, no, Saida, yes, of course, alumni can be involved, and any of your partners, if you've got any partners, I know all the stuff you don't do, Saida, so with all your podcasting, so anybody who wants to be involved in that, yes, very, very welcome. And if you have partners in FE or industry or is learning, then yes, people are very welcome to come along.
So alumni can also do the posters as well?
Absolutely, yes.
Perfect, thank you so much, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, a question I will have to think about is if there's any cost. There won't be any cost for posters or digital presentations. There might be a cost for people to attend on the day, but this cost won't apply to anybody from the University of Glasgow. It would only be external. So I'd have to think about how we count an alumni, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it.
All right, thank you.
Okay, Nathalie.
Right. So it's starting to get close to December again. So I will post a call for the SoTL Advent Calendar again. Now, I thought when Sarah offered to give me some space here, I thought like maybe I can use this to rile up some people and some contributions. Who could you use if you don't switch your camera on, could you use the reactions to show me if you're aware of the SoTL Advent Calendar with a little thumbs up or something? Yeah. Awesome. So some of you know, good, but not all of you. Francis, thank you. No, I cannot. Okay, so Colette, Nida. Okay, so I'll share a quick, I can share my screen, can't I, Sarah? Share screen quickly. So each year, for the last 3 years, we've created a SoTL Advent Calendar. And so what that does is it showcases, oh, wait a moment, this is the wrong. Wait a moment, stop sharing. I've shared the wrong. How do I share the wrong? Typical, I got the wrong thing open. U of G SoTL block. So we share an advent calendar, and as Sarah said, I should know this by now, how to share things. So each year we are creating a SoTL advent calendar which showcases all kinds of SoTL work that is undertaken by colleagues at the University of Glasgow. So last year we did 12 days of SoTL, and we found a way of how to make that live on our SoTL blog and website, so we don't need to go external. So for instance, we have people sharing SoTL magic. We have people who explain how they went on their own SoTL journal, because we have people who are from STEM backgrounds and they really struggle getting to grips with SoTL, and they share their journey and their tips. We have colleagues who share SoTL projects. You can submit a podcast. So for instance, if you've undertaken really nice work, I know for instance Christian is here from UESTC. And I know your group is doing a lot of really interesting work. So you might, for instance, suggest to submit a podcast where one of our team can interview you about all the work you're doing around SoTL at UESTC, and that podcast can be shared. Or you can write a blog post. You can, if you have any SoTL publication, you can write it out loud and share it on the podcast. That can be quite popular because people like reading on their walks. You can create H5P documents. You can submit posters. There's all kinds of interesting stuff around SoTL. You can submit. Sarah, did I forget anything or?
No, I don't think you did. So yeah, and the other thing is you can submit your own things, or you can also encourage your students.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So if you collaborate with your students, or if your students are undertaking a SoTL related work, so I know, for instance, that in chemistry, some of the students do work for chemistry education there. So you can encourage your students to submit things. What we like to do this year is to bring a friend. So if you have a colleague from another institution, you can invite a colleague from another institution to either submit something together with you, or you submit both for one day. So what we usually do is we share 2 people's work, sometimes 3 per day of the Advent calendar. So if you have someone with whom you work together, or who does really interesting work in another institution, and you want to bring them along, you both of you can submit for one day. There is a submission form I'm going to share on the MS Teams. Are all of you in the SoTL MS Teams space now? Yeah. So I share the link for the SoTL calendar for the call in MS Teams, but I can also, wait a moment, share this here. Now, how do I share this? There, copy it, share it in comments here, so you have access. And you can submit what you would like, the topic you want to submit, share your Twitter handle. So this is contribution directly to the Advent calendar. So this is the one thing. The other thing is I need editors. So I would very much like to put a call out again for editors. What we've done last year is each editor was responsible for 3 days. I'm there with tech help, so don't worry if you're not entirely sure about, because we're using WordPress, so if you're not entirely sure about the WordPress platform or Twitter or scheduling, this is not a problem. You'll get support, so you're not left alone. It's more collating the information, preparing everything for the 3 days you're responsible for. The other thing I would like, I know people have been editors before, so if you would like to be lead editor, or if you're someone who likes to really jump in the deep end and you go for, I want to be lead editor right away, you're more than welcome. Again, I'll be there for tech support and giving, helping a little, so you're not alone with this. But it would be ideal if we could have 2 lead editors, so you can support each other, and a couple more editors for each of the sections of the days. And even if you're editor, of course, you can still contribute. So it's not mutually exclusive. And I just realized I should probably put the question for, do you want to be editor in the form as well? I just noticed I forgot that. So I will add this quickly. So wait before you fill it in. Does this make sense? Are there any questions about that? So the good thing with the Advent calendar, if you're thinking about like promotion criteria or just in general your career development, is that the anything editorial will give you some leadership experience, and if you're contributing, it tends to have quite a bit of esteem coming with it, because we can get the usage statistics. We are linking it through various Twitter networks, so we have quite a good reach. And for any of the publications, we can give you user statistics about that. You know, if you're going for a next promotion application and you want to see, hey, how many people have actually looked at that, or how far has that reached? So we can help you with this as well. Wait a moment, there was a question somewhere that just popped up. Oh, awesome. Alison goes for it. Co-lead editor. Good. Yes, good. So we already have one. So if anyone wants to work with very lovely Alison as co-lead editor, give us a shout. And otherwise, if you're just interested being editor or contributor, then fill in the form and let us know. Yeah,
I will say last year it was a lot of fun. It was really good fun because we just had a dedicated Teams channel for it where we were just all talking 19 to the dozen. And it's great fun, and seeing all this stuff that was coming in and then working out what was, and then what was going to go on each day and what fitted with what. It was superb. And we had people from other universities wanting to come in and join, and we just said no, it's just this year it's just Glasgow people because it was today. But and we generally want an opportunity to showcase what all of our colleagues are doing, so you know, to make it our advent calendar. But it's had a lot of interest, a lot of people quite jealous about what we've done and wanting to know how they can get involved. So we will open it up. The other thing I would say is if I were doing this, I would submit my abstract to the Learning and Teaching Conference, and I would put that in. I would then write that up as a blog post or a podcast or something like that, and I would submit it to the advent calendar and get some feedback and things like that on it. And then I would be prepared to present at the Learning and Teaching Conference. So I've done one thing, but I've got 2 different outputs out of it.
And the advent calendar, while it doesn't count as a publication as such, in the PDR system, you can submit it as a scholarship. So because it is a form of scholarship. Also, if you are unfamiliar with writing for blogs, for instance, that's what Sarah just mentioned, you will get feedback, because I sometimes get people who are quite concerned about how do you write a blog, you know, and finding the right tone of voice and length of article. And so there is feedback for this. So you don't need to, you know, if it's something you've never tried, or a podcast, you know, we'll help you through. So if there's something you've never done before, this is your opportunity to just have some fun and play and showcase the work you're doing. Yeah.
Yeah, and you can share any blog post or anything you're doing just with the other editors beforehand. Yeah. And get some feedback about that before you go public. Yeah. And you'll find it's a very, very friendly audience anyway.
No deadline yet. We have to think about a deadline, actually. I realized, because last time I think I did it without a deadline, and then nobody fills it in because academics need their deadlines. I know. So yes, I will I will put a deadline in and a call for editors as well. So I'll edit the form, and as soon as I've edited, I put it in the channel. Sarah, I'm just going to share the link to the channel just in case someone doesn't have it quite yet.
I would say a rough deadline is going to be something like around the end of November, because it's the 12 days of SoTL. Yeah. And so what we want to do is get the 12 days done before we break for Christmas. Yeah. So we're probably, and I don't know, last year we had everything all organised, and then there was the strike and we had to change everything. So we need to sort of be prepared for anything like that.
Oh no, this again, isn't it? It's the call for strike again. This, yeah.
So, but I would say roughly we're looking at expressions of interest to come in as soon as possible, but the finished thing probably to be ready. Yeah. End of November, beginning of December. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, the editors will be pulling their hair out because they won't have anything.
Yes, mm-hmm. I remember this. Super. And yeah, so also what we usually do as a little fun bit, at the end of each post, we ask people to submit a song they really like. So from YouTube or Spotify or something, you can have a link to a song you want to share with people. So we had quite a bit of fun with that as well, and feedback from others who really enjoyed that feature of having a song a day. So yeah, so we can put a SoTL playlist together. I should actually do this, put a SoTL playlist from all the calendars together. It was quite interesting. Yeah, so I think that's everything with the calendar. So I have my marching orders for putting the dates in and call for editors, and Alison is already co-lead editor. So we already have one more person on board. Fantastic.
So I think I'm just going to share I think what we should do now then, Nathalie, is just have a look at the rest of the SoTL Network meetings.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm just going to share my screen again. Okay, so the idea is that we have a SoTL Network meeting on the last Wednesday of the month. This time I'd already scheduled the Writing for the Learning and Teaching conference, and then I realised I'd done up, but that was quite fortuitous. So what we have is I've just put dates in from November through to June, and I haven't, obviously, if it's the last Wednesday of the month, then the December one, we should have that one earlier on. And what we want to do is we don't want it to be us presenting every time. We want to turn this over to all of you as members of the network. So we did a bit of a brainstorming with a different group to come up with some themes. And we sort of thought, well, we're going to want some for social things. So we'll probably want a Christmas social in December, where we have sort of, you know, virtual mince pies. Well, we can have real mince pies, but we'll eat them virtually. Maybe at the end of the year, we want some sort of reflect and review. Maybe we want some sort of meet and greet, speed SoTL dating. But then the other things that we were thinking about, we're looking at supporting the whole process of doing SoTL. So getting started, all the different methods and methodologies, ethics, writing for publication, SoTL funding, and evidencing SoTL activity. And what we're thinking about is how we would schedule these, when we would schedule them, and who, as a guest, would come in and lead the sessions. So what I would say is I'm not putting anybody on the spot now, obviously, but we will be sharing all of this in Teams, and we'll share it as a spreadsheet. And if any of you want to come and sort of vote to say, yes, these are the sessions that we really want, we'll do some sort of voting for the popular sessions. And also if people want to sign up to be lead facilitator or co-facilitator for a session, because again, it's another thing that you can put in for your PNDR that you were leading the sessions when, you know, we'll make it invited speaker, things like that. So Nathalie and I are always very good at finding ways that we can help people to evidence things. And
yeah, and it's also actually one of the aspects in the PDR says that you are leading CPD sessions, I think, and so that is actually an official CPD session, so that would be a good opportunity to run.
So I would say, is there anything that we've missed from the topics that you would like to see?
Maybe have something about sharing SoTL activities, so ways of sharing what is happening around around university. So obviously the conventional way of writing articles, but other than that, just sort of maybe ideas that sort of build on that advent calendar idea, and blogs and podcasts and stuff, a bit of a celebration of what people already do, but also ideas for people to kind of develop and follow up and think about, and maybe the metrics side of things as well.
Oh, that's a really good idea. So to get people who've been doing it to come and talk about what they did and how successful it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's a really good point, because the metrics can be quite powerful, particularly if you're on social media, to show like growing a network or the reach your work has. So that's a really good for esteem indicators, for instance. Yeah. Colette.
Colette, yeah.
Hello.
Hiya.
Hello. So one thing that is really kind of caught my attention more recently is what scholarship-based projects look like in different disciplines. So I'm from a STEM background, so like I think as already discussed, in STEM subjects, I feel that this is it's very much unknown. So what I've been trying to do recently is trying to get in contact with other people from the College of Science and Engineering to see, well, what kind of STEM work, what kind of scholarship work do you do, and how do you interact with students, and how does that kind of play with your research? Because I feel like I don't quite understand that. So for me, it'd be nice to have a kind of network meeting, not only for like the College of Science and Engineering, but in all colleges. What does that actually look like within your discipline? What are, because that's something I really don't understand, but I would like to know more about.
That's really good. I mean, one thing, as well as the SoTL Network meetings, one thing I want to do is I want to do some sort of showcase for all of the SoTL and SSP and all those other projects. So I think sort of not this time next year, but, you know, in a year's time when we've got all those projects, I think we'll get some sort of big event to show all of those. But yes, it would be really good, wouldn't it? Nathalie, I'm sort of wondering about the PG Cap SoTL projects.
Yeah, I know what you mean. There are so many. I've actually been thinking about this for a while now, because we have so many interesting PGCAP project suggestions, and we get comments and questions if things could be shared. So might be worthwhile having a chat with Michael and see if we can find a way of sharing this, because I also think sharing it also means that it's not only getting a better understanding, but you might find someone with whom you want to collaborate because they're actually interested in the same topic, and then that would make both your projects stronger, working together. So yeah.
Right, so thank you for that, Colette, because I think that just sort of tied a few things that Nathalie and Michael and I have been thinking about, and actually so definitely. So, for example, Colette, I mean, if we put you on the spot and we said, would you come along and give 5 minutes on what you're doing in SoTL and your group are doing in SoTL? Is that the sort of thing you're thinking about?
Yeah, no, I would absolutely love to, but I would absolutely love to do that, but we're not like I am not doing anything in particularly interesting, but there's definitely things that I'm doing more with undergraduate students to try and build that up. But then yeah, so I'm more than happy to come along and share and see what other people are doing, and yeah, just to try and get a better understanding for myself. So it won't be anything like concrete or anything like groundbreaking, but I think yeah, like if people are willing to listen to me and can I help me, then I'm more than happy to share what I'm doing.
Very, very happy to listen to you, Colette. Which of the funding schemes did you get? Was it SSP or SoTL or?
It was SoTL.
Yeah, thought so.
Yes. So that this project has just started, obviously the last couple of weeks. So again, more than happy to kind of share what I'm doing and kind of how it's going. But obviously it's not going to be complete at all for at least months. Yeah,
but as I say, when it's getting nearer completion, I think we'll do something particular for all of you anyway. But yeah, if you're happy to come along before then and just saying, hey, here's my tentative thoughts and here's how I got started and here's the kind of types of method I'm going to be using and why, I think that would be really good. Yeah,
for sure, definitely.
Right, that's you booked. And likewise, anybody else here or not here, if people, you know, if you think, well, I'd actually running something for an hour is a bit much, I can't do that, but I'd just like 5 minutes, then we can always facilitate that. Anything else, Nathalie?
No, I was just trying to think. First of all, I'm sharing the call for Advent calendar. again, I've now added deadline and editor. No, I was just wondering, actually, because that came up yesterday, do you think people would be interested in something like a SoTL surgery where we have like really short, just 10-15 minute drop-in sessions where people, if you are running a SoTL project but you're stuck with it, or you're planning a SoTL project but you're not really confident about it, or maybe you want to try out new methods, that is basically just like a 10-15 minute drop in where we can talk and maybe give you some advice. Would that be of interest for people? Yeah. Okay, so then we that seems to be a general yes from all sides. Okay, so then Sarah, we can start looking at how to organize that, because we've been talking about this in our team, in the ADD team, and I think that might be worthwhile. Yeah.
Yeah, and also not just us, but other members of the network to sort of, so people come along and we all bit of sort of collaborative troubleshooting.
Exactly. It could also be some members of the network who, for instance, are very confident in developing questionnaires, helping others who are not so confident to develop their questionnaires, or if someone who's really confident with quantitative methods but wants to explore different methods can talk to people who have more experience with the other side. So yeah, that would work quite well, I think.
Yeah, and the other thing we are going to do in coordination with what used to be called Senate Office is we're going to run a couple of sessions next year for people applying for the funding. So again, I'll be asking people like Colette, who was successful this year, to come to a session and just say what she found easy and what she found difficult, and how advice that she would give for somebody in her shoes a year on. So again, not to put you on the spot, Colette, but yes.
No, I'm more than happy to share
Yeah.
my experiences, but again, I can't guarantee they'll be totally positive, but I'm happy to share what I've done with whoever will listen.
I think the not so positive experiences are the really, really important ones, just to be realistic and not to be sort of Pollyanna about it was all wonderful, because we all know that there's a lot of hoops to jump through. So, and yes, I know I've got other people here that I can call on as well, not looking at you, Francis or Linnea.
I'm happy to be involved, Sarah, and
I know.
my project's having quite a lot of problems at the moment that I can tell you about, so you're looking for problems.
Right, so what we'll do is we'll look at doing some warts and all sessions then, I think, where people can just actually come along and just saying, hey, this was an unmitigated disaster, it all fell apart, but here's what I did to salvage it, and I did something, or I haven't salvaged it, please help me. You know, I'm in an absolute state of panic, I'm not going to get anything done. And, you know, and we won't record these sessions either.
There is one thing actually, Sarah, that just popped into my mind because Linnea just joined, and someone earlier, I think Alison, you asked about social media. Actually, Linnea and I are running a CPD session on the 8th of December about parasitic aggregation. So we are not looking into statistics and impact, but we're looking about good practice in use of social media. So that might be of interest as well to some of you.
Yeah, I think it definitely will. I mean, what Linnea and Nathalie have noticed is some particularly poor behaviour, not any one individual, but just there are some things that happen on social media that just aren't, people wouldn't do it in other contexts. So we're going to sort of look at, you're going to look at that, aren't you? And look at how you can take a poor behaviour and turn it into a positive behaviour. Yeah. So I think it sounds great. Parasitic aggregation is such a great word. Okay, well, look, it's 5-1. I think we should stop the recording